Hello and welcome to a brand new Mind Mastery video. Today I'm going to talk about radical honesty and what we can do in order to integrate it into our lives and practice it on a regular basis. So, first of all, what is radical honesty? We know that generally honesty is about telling the truth, expressing ourselves authentically to other people, telling what we think, and basically meaning what we say and saying what we mean, so that we are not deceiving the other individual, or we are not hiding something because we are not wanting to tell the truth. And radical honesty in that context is about telling the truth no matter what. So even if there is a chance that that truth might hurt another person, even if there is a chance that we'll feel very uncomfortable, or we might sort of lose face within that specific context or a situation, no matter what, we are telling the truth. And as a result of that, we remain authentic, we remain this integrated individual. And I think that it's not always easy to follow this path of radical honesty, because what do we do in situations where our words can really hurt the other person because we decided to be this honest and authentic individual? Or what if telling the truth will cause us some problems in a sense, or expose our parts that we are not comfortable with? So I think that the solution to this is that, being honest or follow this path of radical honesty is not about, going around and telling people the truth, right? Because not always people will want to hear you in the first place, regardless if what you are saying is true or not, right? So if you have something to say, it needs to be invited. It needs to be kind of mutually agreed between yourself and another individual, so that you're not just pushing your truth on other people, right? But you are expressing yourself in situations where it's welcome, when the other person expects it from you. So if they ask you a question, or if you're having a conversation with them about something, that's where you can find this invitation to be honest, right? To express yourself, to be authentic, and to share yourself with other people in this authentic and very honest way. And this mechanism kind of works the other way around, where we set boundaries, where we don't share with people what we don't want to share, what we are not comfortable with, right? So we set boundaries. Radical honesty is not about exposing yourself totally and sharing every single personal detail with every single individual that we meet on our path. But again, it's about making a choice, right? So if we are to be honest, if we are to be authentic, we need to choose to be that way. So we set the boundaries, and we don't share absolutely everything. We don't share every single detail, personal detail, with every single person that we meet, but we choose when to share it and with whom. But once we share it, we go all the way. We go all the way on the spectrum of being honest. So no white lies, no colorizing, no deceiving, no omitting any facts. Once we resolve to be honest, we go all the way. We go all the way on this spectrum of honesty. Because many people say that, yeah, they are honest, they are authentic, but what they're doing is that they omit certain truth. They omit certain facts from the conversations, or because they don't want to hurt other people, they're not going to share something. So they're not entirely honest. They might be honest, but they wrap their truth in this fancy packages so that it doesn't hurt the other person, or it doesn't hurt themselves in the process. Whereas if we practice radical honesty, there's no wrapping up, there is no packaging. You give others the truth how it is. No gift wrapping in the process. So setting boundaries is not about colorizing the truth, or avoiding something, or deceiving the other person, but it's about sharing what we are comfortable with. But once we share it, we go all the way, and we are totally honest. There's one question that remains, however. If we want to practice radical honesty, can we start with ourselves? Can we be honest with ourselves? Can we tell the truth to ourselves in the first place? Because it's a very nice concept. It's a very nice theory to share the truth with others, to be authentic, to follow this path of radical honesty. But can we be really honest with ourselves in the first place? So I think that if we want to practice radical honesty, we need to start with ourselves. So no deceiving, no self-deception, no avoidance, no dismissal, no repression, no denial. But we take ourselves as we are. So all our uncomfortable emotions, or our feelings, all our shameful impulses, things that we are not proud of, we need to accept it all in the first place and admit it to ourselves that, okay, this is what I am in this moment. So only from this place where we can admit it to ourselves, only then we can admit it to other people as well. And it won't always be easy because our ego generally doesn't want us to experience all these emotions and feelings that contradict our power or are opposing our self-image. So our ego will do anything it can to push away everything that is contradictory, and that's how we create various conflicts. We might think one thing, but then we feel something different, or we have one feeling that is completely contradictory to what we have planned to do, right? So inner conflicts, I think, are this major obstacle on being radically honest with ourselves, because then how do we make a decision, right? How do we resolve these conflicts? Because if we can't resolve these conflicts, if we can't make a decision on what is the right path, or what we really want, or what we really think or feel, then how could we expect to be honest with other people? Yeah? So resolving these conflicts, making decisions, is something that we need to work on if we want to practice radical honesty. And it often helps to practice mindfulness, practice self-awareness, practice staying grounded. And if it's something that you want to improve or develop, if you want to enhance your self-awareness, develop the skills of being present and grounded, then I invite you to join my workshop on awareness and dissociation. Once we are able to do it, once we're having enough knowledge, once we are having enough confidence that we know ourselves to the best of our ability. I'm not saying that it's even completely possible to know ourselves fully, because there's always this unconscious realm, there's always the shadow that we are casting. But knowing ourselves to the best of our ability is still better than having all these conflicts, or not being sure, or feeling insecure. So we have to make some choices. We have to resolve some conflicts first. We need to learn how to be honest with ourselves if we want to proceed. And only then, when we share our truth with others, when we share this radical truth, when we share who we truly are, only then we can expect to say that, yeah, we are practicing radical honesty with other people. And again, it doesn't mean that we are then entitled to go around and tell our truth to other people. Like, I think you look like this, I don't like what you're wearing, I don't like your character. Because it's just, okay, it's true, right? It's your opinion, it's your authentic opinion, but what do you expect to gain with that? Radical honesty is about sharing yourself authentically, when invited, not when nobody asks you for an advice or an opinion, right? Because going around like this is, a sure path of hurting other people. But where it is invited, when someone asks you for an opinion, when someone asks you for an advice, when someone has this conversation with you about something, where you are invited to share your honesty, your truth, your opinion, you can't really take responsibility how the other person is going to respond to what you are saying. It's, their reactions, their feelings. Whereas if you go around uninvited, sharing your opinions, advices, your thoughts and feelings, you are responsible for hurting other people because you haven't been invited to share yourself. But you've made that decision to go around and share yourself. So I think it's a very important distinction between these two contexts, where we are invited to share ourselves and where we choose to. Because when we choose to, then we are choosing the consequences of our behavior and our sharing as well. So that means that we are responsible for the damage that we might create. Whereas if we are invited, it means that the other person takes the responsibility for what they are doing, what they are asking for. So when they react to your truth, when they react to your honesty, they take this responsibility for asking you in the first place, right? Engaging with you in the first place. And it takes practice. It takes practice to be able to distinguish these two. And again, it doesn't entitle you to go around and hurt people because you want to be radically honest. There's a very thin line between radical honesty and actual abuse. So you need to define for yourself which one is which. Because if you use radical honesty just to abuse other people, you're not practicing radical honesty. You're practicing satisfying your drives, your shadow drives that want you to hurt other people because you want to feel powerful, for example. Radical honesty isn't about power, isn't about hurting other people, isn't about gratifying yourself, but it's about being who you are and sharing yourself the way you are with other people. When invited. And the more you practice, the easier it's gonna get. But again, you need to be honest with yourself in the first place. So I hope that helps. If you're interested in private coaching, don't hesitate to send me a message. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.